Welcome back to Everyday Ricochet. I'm Mike.
And I'm Bobby.
Thank you all for joining us this week. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Today, Bobby and I are going to be talking about holiday traditions and why do we hold those so dear to our hearts, and why do we try to fight so hard to keep those traditions going?
Do you remember when, I think it was the first Christmas that you came to my parents' house, and we got up early Christmas morning and went over there, and Dad had fixed a great big breakfast buffet.
Right.
And you were like, where's the turkey and ham?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you couldn't believe it. And I know that there was another time that we went later in the day, and I know you're getting all excited. Oh, good. This is where the turkey and ham comes in. And we got there and it was lasagna.
Yeah, I know. And it wasn't my particular tradition of turkey and ham, but it was, it was your tradition.
Yeah.
His tradition. And I'll tell you the other one that really got me was people opening Christmas presents before Christmas on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. I think it's because we always went to my grandma's on Christmas Eve when I was a kid. And we would beg my grandpa, please, please, please. And he would play this game. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if we can open presents. You're going to have to wait. You got to go do this and you got to do that. And then about, 5 till 12, he's like, okay, you can open them.
Yeah. And you allowed the girls to open a present on Christmas Eve. And I was like, no. And I think that came from really not having a whole lot at Christmas time.
Yeah.
And thinking, well, if we open these up, then
there's not going to be anything for Christmas morning.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was always the fear. Of course, that wasn't the case, but it was always that fear of, okay, or they're going to go overboard and want to open everything and then be disappointed on Christmas that there's nothing there.
Yeah, I did that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Because I would always want to stay at my grandma's after I opened the Christmas presents. And my mom would say, I don't think Santa's going to bring your presents to your grandma's. I think you have to come home and get your presents. And I was convinced Santa knew where I was. And he was going to leave my presents for me at my grandma's house. But lo and behold, I guess it was too late to put in a location change. He always left them at my house. And I woke up Christmas morning and ran out to my grandma's tree, and it was still the stuff and paper left from the night before. And I was disappointed. I must have done it 5 times.
Well, I remember a time when we weren't kids. I mean, young teenagers, and boy, we overdid it. We had the Christmas presents underneath the tree, and yeah, we went wild. Christmas Eve, our friends were over and family were over, and we just opened one. Next thing you know, everything's unwrapped. Now, we had a wonderful time. And that waking up the next morning was like, ugh, there's nothing there, and it is full of papers.
Right, you have to clean up from the night before.
Right, and we were thankful. That was a really fun Christmas that year. But it's funny how we hold the traditions so close to our hearts, and we don't ever want to move away from those, even though there are times like today we have to move away from our tradition of hosting Christmas.
Right. And to go back to Thanksgiving for just a minute, you always had a really hard time because I really didn't make a big deal out of Thanksgiving.
Right.
I guess it was because when I was a kid, I was always going from one place to another, and I thought, well, when I'm a grown-up, I'm just going to just do what I want to do on Thanksgiving.
Right. And
so when Thanksgiving rolled around and you were like, okay, where are we going? Where's the turkey? Where's the ham? Where's all the food? Whose house we going to?
Gathering.
Who's coming over here? And I'm like, I'd rather just sit at home and have a quiet Thanksgiving. But when we were at home, it never happened that way because people that said they didn't think they would be able to stop by always ended up coming by.
I was going to say, we always, on Thanksgiving, we would have our friends and family come in they would just drop in. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also like the new tradition that we kind of started. I don't even know if it was a tradition yet, but your twin brother Jimmy and his wife Debbie and daughter Emma, a lot of times they had somewhere to go and eat dinner already to be with her side of the family.
Right.
And then we started doing just drop by afterwards and we can have dessert. And I really like that. So sometimes they came to our house, sometimes we went to theirs, but it was a really neat thing and it kind of took the pressure off.
Yep.
So we could just sit and relax and we didn't have to worry about having dinner at a certain time and, dressing up for everyone. We just
hung out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really enjoyed, that's what I enjoyed about our Thanksgiving. And again, this year, we do something different.
Yep.
Today, this year we spent, just you and I spent time together, a nice quiet day. We cooked a small dinner, watched the Thanksgiving parade and the dog show.
Yep.
And then we did something that we usually don't do. We've tried it in the past a couple of times, and it's just never worked. And I drug you out to the pre-Black Friday ceremonies.
Yes. Which was an adventure, to say the least.
Well, this time it wasn't bad. The first store we went to, I have to tell a story. We decided to go to Target. They opened at 5 on Thanksgiving. And as I said, we really don't ever do this. I think we've tried this a couple of years ago, and both of us had really bad anxiety.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't be in the store. Well, we decided to go to Target this time, and when we pulled up in the parking lot, we pulled into the front of the store, and
I was already having some anxiety, and I looked up at the front of the building, and I was like, oh.
That's not bad.
Well, I can do that. I mean, there's only like 20 people standing up at the front door.
And so when we pulled in the parking lot, we were staring right at the front of the store. And so I said, see, we have another 10 minutes. We can sit in a truck and relax and then just go in there and see what kind of deals we can get. Well, we parked, and about 5 minutes till 5, we got out and we walked right up to that line. And the people were looking at us like, what are you doing?
Because the line continued and continued and continued around the corner into another parking lot and back towards the first parking lot.
It was at least 350 people.
Yeah.
And we were like, what? Where did all these people come from in 5 minutes? I didn't even see nobody get out of their car.
Yeah, we are really not great at, pre-Thanksgiving or Black Friday sales.
Yeah,
we have no idea what we're doing.
So we get in the line, and they're passing out all kinds of pre-sale stickers that you can get this if you can get there in time and blah, blah, blah. Well, we were standing in line, and there was a young lady. Her name was Bridget. And hi, Bridget, if you're listening. I hope you are. We had such a fun time standing in line with her. She was so amped up and ready to go. She was looking for one particular thing.
That was what was funny, is that she just wanted one thing from that store, and apparently had a schedule of all the stores they were going to.
Right.
And her friend was more like me, and the more she talked about spending all this time out in the stores, the more the friend kind of backed away a little bit at a time, like, oh, what have I gotten myself into?
And she was so happy to be. She made my evening by being so energetic and so.
I think she was actually one of Santa's elves.
She had to be. She was just from the beginning, from when we started standing there to all the way till we got to the door. We never did see her again.
Oh no! Once she hit the door, she was gone.
Yeah.
She went. She probably didn't even get a cart. She probably went straight to where she was going, and then to the register, and was out before we could even get to the back of the store.
So shout out to Target. They handled their store. It was just like a regular day with extra customers, to be honest with you.
And it wasn't bad until you got back towards the electronic area.
It was a little crowded.
And that's when I started, breaking out into hives and trying to find a place to hide.
Well, I remember I said, you just stay right here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go look for, I don't know, we were looking at a TV or something. I said, we're going to look, I'll look over here and I'll meet you back. But so, yeah, even the checkout was excellent. We got in the line, they moved us around, we got out and went on.
Yeah, and it looks intimidating because the line that you got into before you went to the checkout line was really long, but they had every checkout line open and it went really quickly.
Yeah, you Black Friday, pre-Black Friday shoppers know exactly what we're talking about.
Yep.
We decided to leave there, get something to eat, and then we went over to Walmart, which...
Walmart was rough.
I'll tell you, I've never now I got to give credit where credit's due. With that many people, it was fine.
Yeah, the employees did a great job, and it
was like a well-oiled machine.
Yes,
everything. Now they had the aisles blocked off, but you were able to maneuver and get what you wanted and get out of there.
Kind of. I still felt a little bit
claustrophobic. I knew you did. That's why we left.
Yes, and then we went to my safe place, my happy place.
Well, and I have to say something before that, before we hit that. I've never seen so many cars in a parking lot.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even get to park in the parking lot. I forgot about that.
Bobby and I literally drove up and down almost every aisle in Walmart, and there was, even on the side of the building, there was not one spot that you could park, and we ended up having to park across the street.
At another place that was closed, we parked in their lot.
So Bobby and I walk in, and I could tell just holding her hand the tension she was under, and I said, let's just see if we can get this couple of things, and then we'll get out of there. What I found is that, and I've polled a lot of people before I've talked about this, but what I find is that pre-Black Friday and Black Friday shopping is, yes, some of it's for Christmas presents, but a lot of times it's for people who have been waiting or wanting something and they know it's going on sale.
Yes.
So, and I've talked to friends at work, I've talked to different people at the grocery store or in, how I love to talk. And so they all say, hey, that's the perfect time to go get what you want. It's marked way down. And if you can get your hands on it, you've scored a great deal.
Yes. Now, I do have to say that being amateurs at this, we didn't realize that the reason you go and camp out and wait at the beginning of the line was because they pass out tickets to the items that you want. And then once those tickets are gone, that's over. It. You can't get that item any longer.
So what Bobby's talking about is when we first walked into the store, I said, hey, where are those TVs that you're offering? And the guy said, oh, straight back. And I said, in back of the store? It's not in electronics. Nope, straight back. And I said, okay, thank you. We grabbed the cart. I headed straight back there, and you kind of held back, and I was standing there right by the TVs. There were a bunch of employees standing around the TVs.
But no customers.
No customers, and I was just standing there thinking, man, there's a lot of people here, and I'm the only one that's up here by
the TV.
Yeah, and so I'm standing there, and it's like an awkward stare. About 6 employees are just staring at me like,
He has no idea what he's doing.
And finally, the one guy says, what are you here for? And I said, one of these TVs. And
he kind of laughed a little, chuckle.
And he said, oh, not these TVs. I said, oh, yeah, this is the one I'm getting. He says, these are already gone. I said, no, they're not.
I'm right leaning there.
On them. I'm leaning on them. He said, no, sir, that line for these TVs are over there, and all the tickets are handed out. We don't have any more. They're already spoken for. And I was like, oh, are you kidding me? And I knew they were all looking at me like...
And so they're like, amateur.
And I knew, listen, after they were staring at me, I knew something was going on.
Yeah.
I knew I was out of place. You get that little funny feeling like these people aren't looking at me because...
They think I'm handsome.
Yeah. So